First of all, for pushing me to come out and read in front of people for the first time.
Right on. Whoa, yeah!
I have to say, if earlier in the night we had Dr. Seuss reading Proust, I felt like I just had Dylan reading Ginsberg. That last poem had a really cool rhythm to it. That was really cool. Actually, and where's the gentleman? I was an undergrad at Villanova, philosophy student, and I was there at the Derrida speech you're talking about. Where Caputo brought him out to talk about specters of Marx and the idea of the gift, and when you give a gift, is there an implicit desire to have something back, and what is there authenticity in giving, and so forth. And then I was, of course, as a philosophy student, bewildered to be among, you know, like at that time Derrida was like a god. And then I ended up in the bathroom peeing next to him in the urinal, and it was like a really weird thing. So it sort of brought it all back home, like he's a philosopher, we're just two guys that are dicks in it. That was kind of cool. All right, let me bring this up. In another life, I write poetry in a garden in a leather-bound book. In this life, I write it after being at PNP, drunk, and probably other things, in the cold luminosity of my phone notes section. So, here we go. I don't title any poems. I don't know. Like I said, I write them when I'm a little fucked up. So, try not to talk too fast. Our bones clank together in this little bed, like oars dropped in the boat by weary hands along some desolate, muddy bank. We did not make it upstream. And yet there was a moment, a trembling, graceful moment, when our bodies understood some primitive truth, when our bones were fleshy and slippery, and we thought we might dock a little further up the river and lay together in the wildflowers. That's it. All my poems are short. I am a member of the hollowed out, need stimulation, Adderalled up, no attention span generation, so everything I write is really short. This is another love poem. I'd like to write political poems, and I respect that people here do and are trying to change the world, because we need people like that. I'm just trying to be a human being the best I can. You know? You take a long drag on your cigarette. I haven't been paying attention. Then suddenly the pulsing orange glow transfixes me, and I realize that I too am your cigarette, burning down and vanishing into air as you devour me, fashionably. And I am happy to fall like ashes at your feet, or drift in hazy coils out the window and into the sky, if only to be balanced between your slender fingers, and to have a moment on your lips, cracked and wine-stained and lovely. All right. So that's the last of my love poems to the only person I've ever been in love with. This one's from my grandfather, and it's called Shell Bay Avenue, which is a little street in Cape May Courthouse that I spent most of my childhood summers in, that my grandfather bought in like the 40s and used to take me crabbing and good stuff like that. And he's one of those guys from a generation that, just one of those strong guys with big hands that, you know, I only could hope to be like. The memories crawl back slowly to the shore of my consciousness, almost imperceptibly at first, like the black spears of the horseshoe crabs emerging from the rippled bay at dusk onto the marshes. And then suddenly they rush back, vividly, brilliantly, skipping across my mind's eye like the smooth stones you taught me how to throw over the water, your ruddy face smiling beneath your soft blue fisherman's cap, your cigar husk laugh as I try to pull in the traps, heavy with angry crabs. And then a car pulls in, and a phone rings, and the memories sink like a heavy stone into the bay. I'm getting through this here, kids. So, last one's a rhymer, you know, and I'm just going to say briefly that rhyming poetry, and I understand why, because it's sort of all there was for such a long time, and so, of course, people needed to, it felt limiting, you know, and at worst, it feels quaint, and but also the sort of rhythm of beat poetry, unrhymed poetry, still persists today, and that's 50 years ago. So why is it any more trite to emulate Tennyson than it is to emulate Ginsberg or Ferlinghetti? Like I don't understand that. Like, I don't get it. Like it's all been done, so just do something beautiful, and that's, you know. So so this is a rhymer. It's not Tennyson, but you know, there's not going to be in memoriam here. If I was friends with Arthur Henry Hallam, I wish I could write something so good. But it's a short rhymer. Here we go. Strung out swingers and snow-lipped singers, 4-day binge and the 5th day cringe. My heart sinks below the night sky above, but all I want is to be in love. Jukebox got that Nat King croon, bourbon in the afternoon. Outside shoppers growl and shove, but all I want is to be in love. Dug the grave I'm lying in, sometimes a lesson's worth the sin. I did the heist and hid the gloves, but all I want is to be in love. That's all I got. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for your generosity.